Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Serena, and in today's video I'm going to be sewing up a cute little weekender sunset to do some gardening. It's very garden themed because of the fabric. So if you're interested in seeing me sew this piece up, go ahead and like and subscribe. And now let's get into the fabric and the materials. In this video I'm making Simplicity 1170, and I think this pattern's from 1955. I'll be making the shorts and the cropped top. The pattern description describes this as a weekender wardrobe, and I could totally see this because you could make a cute little capsule for a weekend getaway. For the fabric, I'm using this vegetable fabric that I made my tot a outfit with, so we're gonna have matching mother and son outfits when I'm done. I had this pattern in my collection for a very long time, and I don't think I've made it. I did alter the top, so I kind of redrafted or played with the pattern on the top to make a maternity outfit for Juneteenth when I was pregnant with said tot. So this is the first time that I'm actually making the pattern as it was meant to be. In the first version, I moved buttons from the back of the top to the front for it to open in the front, so that way I could breastfeed. And now that obviously that's no longer necessary, I can put the buttons in the back. I also added sleeves, which I forgot until I pulled up the photo. So funny story, I really liked this dress and I spent a lot of time sewing on all of that trim, and the idea was really nice, but the execution was poorly because of the time period in which I made that outfit. I was going for a patio outfit look because I thought it would be cute for the summer, and the skirt was free flowing to go over my bump but also be comfortable. And I could not source black cotton, so I think I just used cotton for the top. And for the skirt, I had to use a microfiber bed sheet because at the time it was a lockdown and everyone was using cotton to make masks. So I didn't have any black cotton, and so I thought that the bed sheet would work out, and the bed sheet was awful to work with. Like, I've never actually used microfiber bed sheet. I usually just use 100% cotton, like vintage sheets that have holes and stuff in them. And so I cut around the holes and make use of the fabric. Anyway, this was a disaster, and I never wore the skirt again because it was just awful to sew with. It was awful to wear, and I didn't really know better at the time. And it's not, even if I did know better, I didn't have very many options. So an outfit that I thought I was going to get a lot of wear out of, which is why I made it in the first place, I ended up wearing it just the one time for the photos and then just never wearing it again because it was, again, a disaster. So it's really nice to revisit this garment. I am using scrap from a project for my son. He's really into gardening, so I wanted to make him a cute garden overalls with lots of pockets, so that way he would have pockets for his tools and or vegetables that I know he would want to tuck away when he's gathering. His outfit featured overalls with a matching bucket hat, which is reversible. I love making those for him because he's such a hat child. He loves to wear a good hat, so I made it reversible so he had more wearing options. So for my piece, I wanted to also make sure that I got a set out of it, and if I could squeeze out a matching hat, which I did. I didn't sew it on camera, but that's because it is one of Gertie's hat patterns she made in collaboration with Mary, so it's called the Mary Sun hat, and I'll post a photo of that. Now, it's very quick and easy. You definitely don't need me to do a tutorial because it's just straightforward. So the top on this pattern is very cropped. It has a wide square neckline both in the front and the back, and it's fully lined, which I completely forgot about. I actually spent quite some time searching through the pattern for the facing pieces, and then eventually I thought the pattern was missing pieces, so then I looked through the back of the envelope, like the diagram on the envelope, and realized that there were no facing pieces. So I used this really lightweight cotton that I have left over from Joann's that was in my stash for a very long time, and I decided to use it on the back of this. Since it is more of a canvas cotton, I felt like the softer cotton on the reverse side would be very comfortable to the skin, although I don't really have any issues with this cotton at all. Once the lining and the main fabric is sewn together, it's time to clip the corners. So that way when you turn everything over, you have a smooth, sharp corner since you do have a square neckline. And so I just go around and clip all of those. And then once I flip everything right side out, I give it a good press with some steam. Moving on to the shorts, these are really quick and easy. They have two large patch pockets in the front. I usually do not like adding pockets unless it's a cute design feature. And in this case, I feel like there's enough contact. Like, I don't feel like these will rip off. There's something about these specific style of patch pockets that I don't mind as much as I do those like giant square that will sit on a top or a coat. So Plus, I feel like pockets on pants are a little bit more practical and worth utilizing as opposed to being in a skirt. And I'm not a pocket person, but if I had to choose what type of pocket or when I would use them the most, it would be in pants as opposed to skirts. I don't know why. I just don't like things hanging off of my skirts. I like them free flowing. So I put the facing on the pocket to prepare it for going on the front of the shorts. Now, I did not have enough fabric to perfectly pattern match all of the shorts, so I prioritized pattern matching the pockets. So as you can see, you can't really tell where the pocket starts and stops on this, which I feel like wouldn't be as distracting to the eye. For storage purposes, I swap around my wardrobe seasonally, so as I was bringing out my summer spring wardrobe, I'm realizing that a couple pieces don't really fit, and the last time I've updated like my pants and skirts as well as shorts were several years ago. I want to say 4 or 5 years ago. So things are getting a little bit tight because I've upgraded my rump naturally, of course. So I have to make bigger pieces. So there's might be some batch sewing to look forward to on this channel because that's how I tend to prepare my capris or pedal pushers and my shorts. I like to just get them all out of the way in all the colors that I want to wear, so that way I can just have a general bunch to choose from. And I'm realizing that I have none to choose from, and I practically live in those around the summertime when it gets too hot to be wearing layers upon layers of like petticoats and things like that. So with that gap, I'm going to be having to make a lot of shorts, and so yeah, I hope it doesn't get too repetitive. But I will be making a lot more short outfits, so I have more separates to work with. Now let's talk seam finishes. I usually do my French seams as usual, but because this is more of like a utility item and I don't mind seeing top stitching, I'm going to, I think flat fell is what you call these seams. So basically I do my regular 5/8 and then I press the seams open. Then I cut down one side. I'm cutting down the side that's closest to the back of the short. Then I press the fabric 1/4 of an inch on the side I did not cut. Then I flip it all over and then top stitch that down. So you'll be able to see that demo right here, and that's how I plan on finishing the seams on these shorts. So it looks really nice on the inside, and I enjoy seeing the top stitching on the other side. But that's only because the pockets were top stitched. So I figured that finishing the seams this way would go with the overall look of the shorts. If it were not for the top stitching on the pockets, then I probably would not have finished the seams that way, but I felt like it pulled together the design element of the top stitching to have it on the seams as well. Otherwise, I would have went with French seam and or serged it. And speaking of finishing, on this particular pair of shorts, it's the first time I've come across the shorts having a center back zip. I've seen this on a 1940 skirt pattern that I've made in the past, but I've never noticed it on shorts before, and I'm assuming they designed it that way because of the pockets on the side. However, I just want you to know that because the pockets on the side does not mean you cannot put a side zip anyway, and for the sake of just following the pattern, I decided to do it the way that they instructed. Because I've grown out of so many of my pedal pushers and just bottoms in general, I decided to take some of the findings off of my previous works and use the zipper on this pair of shorts. Because I just feel like I already have the materials, and luckily for me, I don't clip the end of my zippers. I just leave them really like the long tail on them, so I'm able to take things out when they don't fit or they're ruined and reuse them on other projects. I like to batch sew my basics, so for pedal pushers, I had about 4 in 4 different colors that I wore the most. None of those fit anymore, so I'll have to replace them. And I had a handful of shorts in different colors as well, one being like a blue denim, so it matched a lot of things. I'll have to make a couple more of those as well. So look forward to some batch sewing, or at least a few repetitive videos, because I have to replace all of those pieces now. Not excited about it because I hate batch sewing, but it's effective because, again, the last time I had to do this was almost 5 years ago. So it's kind of one and done for me until there's a reason to make them again. Maybe if I can work up the nerve, I can do them as sew-alongs on like live stream or something like that, because they are going to be extremely repetitive. I do like to get a bolt of like white sturdy fabric. I will custom dye each color to get exactly what I want, because again, this is not something that I do often. So I'll dye each couple yards a certain color, and then I'll make all of the pieces that I want within like a week or two to just get it over with. I'm finishing up the shorts, and I have a confession. I made a mistake. Well, I guess it's not really a mistake because I did it on purpose, or at least I caught it before I made the mistake and just went with it anyway. Because the zipper is in the center back and it's buttoned, I should have put the buttons to where everything closes in the same direction, because the top buttons as well. But I didn't feel like flipping everything around, so I just went with it. So yeah, that's a thing. All in all, I'm really happy with this piece, especially since I made it to kind of work out in the garden with my little, and I'm happy to have a matching outfit with him for this year. It's super fun to make these pieces, especially since mother-son matching outfits aren't really that popular or a thing. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment down below to help push this video through the algorithm. If you'd like to support my channel and my work any further, you can leave me a virtual tip over on Ko-fi or become a bobbin over on Patreon. I'd absolutely love to have you over there. Of course, the best way to support this channel is free and effective by subscribing and sharing. So all support is support, and I truly appreciate it. I am obsessed with this hat pattern, so I'll definitely be making more. I like that it's reversible and that it opens up and lays flat for travel, so I'll be making a ton more because I love a sun hat, especially in the summer. Let me know your thoughts about batch sewing basics, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great and wonderful rest of the day. Bye!